Iceberg. Cinematography on this was really, really well done. What I loved what the filmmakers did was they made this kind of like a Groundhog's Day. And that was really fun and funny to watch this happening. You know, you start every new day. It's something relatable. The music on this, I loved it. I thought that it was great, and I loved the edit, what they did with it, and how all of a sudden she started dancing in that conference room. I thought that that was amazing. I liked the creativity and how they approached this. I thought that this was a really, really cool short film. So great job.
Iceberg, I loved this. I think it showcased so many wonderful things. What it's like to get stuck and truly trapped into a routine. If you know, get up, go to work, go home, go to sleep. There's a little bit of living in there, like eating and, you know, getting ready in the morning and things like that. But, you know, for the most part, if your work is that kind of everyday 9 to 5, you know, type of job, then you're probably even within your job doing a lot of the same things every single, you know, if not every single day, definitely week to week. You're completing the same tasks, you're doing the same type of work, and you can easily get trapped and fall into a routine, into a going through the motions instead of truly living. And with that can also come burnout. If you're, you know, not passionate, if you have no creative outlets, if you're, you know, just feel like you're going through the motions of life and you're not actually living for any part of your life, then I feel like burnout is a very, very, very real thing that can kind of sneak up on you and, you know, take you by surprise. And I think that this showcased a kind of breaking point and what that really looks like, or what that can look like. And I think that it showcased that really well. But also, when you're stretched so thin, you start to lose awareness in other aspects of your life, not necessarily even just pertaining to work, but your circumstances, your surroundings. And I think for her, just like being so on guard and so on edge and wound so tight and stretched so thin, that she just like absolutely hit her breaking point, and it went from daydream to reality. And I think that it really showed that so well. But then I think what comes after that is, for a lot of people, if they, you know, reach this point of like a kind of breaking point where you're overwhelmed, you flip out, you have a meltdown, you do whatever, and then a lot of the times the next day or 2 days later, however, you know, much long later, like, you still have bills to pay. That hasn't changed. Your circumstances don't change just because you hit this kind of ceiling, just because you hit this tipping point. You still have to get up. You still have to, you know, you're still responsible to your job. You're still responsible to yourself. You still, you know, have to pay for the roof over your head and the food you have to eat and all of these things. And I think that this just kind of showcased all of that so well.
I really liked Iceberg. It reminded me of Joker, in a good way of like an examination of the human condition, kind of society. We live in a society, but from this perspective of a woman, which was an interesting take. Um, I thought it worked. I always like when movies do the like repetitive day, over and over and over and over, and you see like the subtle differences and the changes throughout the whole repetitions. I'm good. I'm a sucker for a good motif, and I thought it was done well here. Also like the music, as far as especially how it's synced up with the days, and like I thought the music and audio also played a really harmonious role, I guess, with the visuals. So I think that's a mark of good directing, good editing. Overall, great job.
When I get introduced with the title and after watching this experience that the filmmakers and dancers put us through, it gives me this sense of, when we think about icebergs, we think about the matters of success. And when we get to success, people often see the tip of the iceberg, but they don't get to see the weight that exists underneath it. And what we get to see here with our leading actress, she has us sort of going through the same day over and over and over again. We're sort of seeing this person in this repetitive action until, she's essentially mad as hell and can't take it anymore. And so we get to see this, dramatic shift in movement and trying to make things change for her in the end. And so we get to see this, really nice put together business person. And then we get this really nice dance here in the alleyway of just that breakaway of, also getting that nice feeling of like, not much good happens when you think about a woman going into an alleyway. But here we get a chance where we see this person go down the street and sort of reclaim that power through the power of dance.